former Redskin, two-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ. It's our buddy Joe Theismann. Joe, how are you, man? Tiki and Tierney, what's going on?
I'm great, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone.
Back at you, Joe. Merry Christmas to you. I would imagine you would agree with that assertion that, yeah, they won a bad division, but the Redskins are finally, it seems, seemingly pointed in the right direction, and maybe they could actually sustain this?
I don't know whether you'd necessarily say it was a bad division. The AFC South is a bad division, okay? Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Indianapolis Colts, that's a bad division. I don't think the NFC East is that bad. The play hasn't been stellar. I think the Redskins I felt like they were the best team in the division. Actually, I felt like Dallas was the best team with Tony in the beginning of the year. But I felt like the Redskins could compete with just about everybody on their schedule and be in what I call 60-minute football games. They're a 60-minute football team.
Yep.
It's the way we were, and Tiki remembers this, the way the Redskins were when I played is Joe Gibbs told us right in the first meeting that we're going to play 60 minutes of football. It could boil down very easily to the last possession or kicking a field goal, scoring a touchdown, stopping somebody from doing those things. But that's the kind of football team we were going to be. That's the type of football team that this is. The other thing about the Redskins, and when you look at their schedule, 3 of those losses came against teams when they were undefeated: Carolina, New England, and Atlanta.
Yeah. When you look at this Kirk Cousins.
So when you look at this football team, and you lost to Deshaun Jackson for 9 weeks. Jordan Reed was out for a little while, who, by the way, is the best tight end in football.
He's
and runs
playing like
the best routes in football.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's playing like
well, you know what they ought to do? Seriously, Teague, and you know this. You're a running back, and you understand moves and hints and everything. Route running and tackling are like bunting and throwing home out from the outfield in Major League Baseball.
Good point.
It's terrible. Guys in Major League Baseball can't bunt, and heaven forbid, you could put $1 trillion at home plate in a 6-foot square, and there probably aren't five guys from the outfield that could actually throw it anywhere near it.
Yeah.
In football, you watch a lot of these long runs, whether it be at the professional level or the collegiate level. You watch safeties try and body block these running backs instead of tackle them. You know, why do you think Seattle and Arizona and the great defensive teams are able to be great? Because they teach their guys how to tackle.
Yeah, it's fundamentals. It's all the fundamentals.
And running routes, I watch these big guys run routes. They just circle around. Shoot, you could have anybody cover these guys. The only way they win is because of size.
Yeah.
But Jordan Reed is a tremendous route runner. He is a wide receiver in a tight end's body. The next thing he's got to work on is blocking. And here's what I love about the Redskins, real quick, is they don't ask him to block anymore. They bring in tackles and have them block.
Yeah, do what you're good at, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you look at Kirk Cousins, did you see this coming? I mean, because there's a chance that he is that elusive long-term answer at quarterback, and he's played great.
Well, I'll go back 2 years ago, okay? I made a statement during a Tampa Bay game. I said that, very simply, if this was a competition between Kirk Cousins and Robert Griffin III, Kurt would win it going away. He's a natural drop-back passer, very smart, athletic enough to be able to move him around in the pocket, and very, very accurate when it comes to throwing the football. Robert never really did it in college. Robert still has to learn how to operate out of a pocket to make those decisions to get the ball out of your hands. Robert's an excellent downfield thrower, but as far as moving in the pocket, it's something he's going to have to work on. And so, yeah, there was a tremendous difference. I felt like Kurt would wind up in a fair competition being the starter. So, I said it 2 years ago and caught holy heaven for it. Holy mackerel. It was a firestorm. How could you say that? I've only played the position for 1,000 years. It's like asking Tiki, tell me what you think about this running back.
Yeah, and then not believe in my opinion.
And then they'll say, well, what do you know?
Yeah.
Well, but Joe, I say that every day to him about the NFL.
I didn't say the NFL. I said running back.
That is true. That's true. We're talking to Joe. Good line, Joe. Two-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champ Joe Theismann here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. Joe, take us into Jay Gruden's mind. The evolution from coordinator to head coach. What is his greatest strength? How has he really grown on game day? What's he do best?
Yeah, I think he reminds me a lot of Joe Gibbs. He's a delegator. His strength is offense. Coach Gibbs' strength was offense. He brought in Joe Barry, made the change to become a more aggressive style of defensive play. They went out and got some players. No matter, we can talk about Jay or any coach or Bill Belichick or Tom Coughlin. You talk about any coach you want in the National Football League. If you don't have players, you can't win. Evidence the Giants last night, who, by the way, did the Giants ever travel to Minnesota?
They're a disgrace, Joe. They're terrible.
Did they miss that plane?
Yeah.
I don't know who was playing last night. But anyway, the thing about Jay is very well organized. He's very disciplined in what he asks for when it comes to his team. And, he's turned the offense over to Sean McVay. Jay became a head coach. Last year, he tried to do everything. Last year, he tried to be the coordinator, tried to be the head coach, tried to be the quarterback coach. There's two very good two hirings that nobody talks about much with the Washington Redskins. First of all, Matt Cavanaugh being able to work full-time with the quarterbacks. And secondly, Bill Callahan becoming the offensive line coach. And by the way, thank you, Jerry Jones, for that gift, Christmas gift called Bill Callahan.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you look at the one area of the Washington Redskins football team that improved more than any, it's the cohesiveness of an offensive line that actually, except for the center and maybe a few snaps, have actually stayed intact for the entire year. And that is a key to playoff football. But Jay has done a wonderful job. He's got a great demeanor. He's a player's coach. And we hear that so often. He doesn't take guff from the guys. He has enough veterans like D. Hall, Chris Culliver, Ryan Kerrigan, Alfred Morris. He's got guys in different positions on this football team that are veterans that he trusts. And then you added, Preston Smith, impact player. Jamison Crowder, impact player. Brandon Sheriff and Morgan Moses, both on the right side, impact offensive linemen. Scott McLuhan did a terrific job, I think, of laying a foundation of where this football team wants to go. And I was just listening to you quickly just before we started this conversation. You said the Redskins are going in the right direction. The Redskins actually have established an identity of who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can look around at every team in the National Football League. The Giants, who are they?
Nobody knows.
The Eagles, who are they?
Nobody knows.
The Cowboys, who are they? The Browns, who are they? I mean, you have to be somebody.
Yeah. And they are.
And that's what the Redskins are. The Redskins are a running football team with a quarterback that keeps the chains moving.
Yeah.
It's very similar to the template that I was fortunate enough to play in under Coach Gibbs.
Yeah, no, when you look at Sean McVay, you mentioned as the offensive coordinator, he's only 30 years old, not even 30 yet. He'll be 30 in January. He's got a huge family connection to the National Football League. His grandfather was one of the architects of the 49ers. So, I mean, he's probably a head coaching candidate down the line, you would think, but he has had as much to do. And we had him on the show, I don't know, a couple months ago, just to talk about his ascension. He, as much as anything, is one of the reasons that this team is playing so well. Do you give them a chance in the postseason?
I do. I really do. Remember, this is something for people to think about. The Giants, in the 2 years that they won the Super Bowl, that Eli Manning has quarterbacked them, they were 9-7 in the regular season. They got healthy. They got some great plays, some great catches from two particular receivers that helped them win the game. Nothing is going to be easy because now everybody you're playing is pretty darn good. The Redskins, the biggest difference in the Redskins in the first part of the year and this where we are now is they're a healthy football team. About 4 games ago, I was on the field talking to Jay a little bit, and it was the first time that he had all his players practice all year. And it was the first time that he had really had to sit down and try and say, do I play a Jamison Crowder? Do I sit and Andre Roberts? He said, I haven't had the luxury of being able to make decisions on players. I've had to go and find bodies just to dress them to fill out a roster. So health is a big issue.
Hey, Joe, we got probably about 30 seconds. We're a little tight here. Your thoughts on Peyton Manning and just the whole story? We all know what it is. What do you think about this, Joe?
I hope Peyton, being that this guy made a statement and retracted it, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. I watched the entire documentary. I felt it's an insult to Peyton Manning and his wife, and that whatever Peyton chooses to do, I hope that that these people understand that you just can't say unfounded things about individuals and hope to get away with it.
That's true, but there's also recourse. If you're Peyton, would you sue, knowing what that entails on both sides?
I would certainly look at all the options that were available to me because it's my character that has come into question.
Yeah, that's why I asked. That's why I asked the question, no doubt. Joe, nice to see the Redskins back with the big boys here. It's been a fun season. I know we'll talk during the playoffs as well. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, it's great that we're talking playoffs in the Redskins. Thanks, guys.
Be good, Joe.
Happy New Year, man. Joe Theismann with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio.